Saivion Jones commits to LSU. He's a 4-star defensive end out of St. James, obviously just less than an hour from LSU's campus. I find this to be really, really significant, and I never want to overstate the value or the importance of a recruit before they ever show up on campus. So I'm not going to do that here. I'm not prepared to make any bold proclamation about Saivion Jones being a next first-round pick or anything like that. But there's a couple of things about this that I think are super significant. Let's start with the player himself, okay? So Saivion Jones is a 4-star defensive end who, in the most recent 24/7 rankings, the top 247 players in the country, he had the biggest jump of any player in the rankings. He jumped 40 spots from 194 to 154. So this is a kid who just had his profile just massively elevated, okay? So that's really significant. Also, number 8 player in the state of Louisiana, the number 11 weak side defensive end in the country. So you were talking about a major national prospect from less than an hour from your campus, and we've talked about how this is an elite year in Louisiana. How you've got 6 players in the top 150 nationally, 7 players now in the top 150 nationally from Louisiana. It's a year where you got to capitalize on the state, and this was a part of that, right? So you get a big-time prospect, a major national prospect from your state at a position of need who's rising up your recruiting rankings. All that is very good. The other part, too, 6'5", 245. You know they'll be able to add bulk to him once Tommy Moffitt gets his hands on him over the next 4 years. So that 6'5", 245 could become 6'5", 265, 285. Whatever they decide they need him to settle in at, you have space on that frame to add size. And 24/7 Sports spoke to Robert Valdez, who's the head coach at St. James. So he's Savion Jones' head coach. And Robert Valdez said, we play a lot of run-heavy teams, so he's had to stop the run and not just pressure the quarterbacks. Remember, with LSU moving to a 4-3, and this is the other part that's really significant about this commitment because of the position. This is one of those things where when LSU transitioned to a 3-4, the biggest need in a 3-4, the adjustment personnel-wise, is getting a nose tackle. Getting that true zero technique nose tackle. It's the hardest thing to find. If you remember, when Dave Aranda came in 2016, LSU didn't have that guy. They brought Trevante Valentine back, needing that guy, hoping he would be it. And, of course, he was a knucklehead and they kicked him off the team again. So they moved Greg Gilmore inside. They tried Frank Herron at that spot. They tried guys that were 4-3 tackles and tried to play him at a zero technique nose. It didn't really work. It wasn't until the light bulb clicked with Ed Alexander and with Tyler Shelvin and now with Apu Ika that they started recruiting that position. The good thing is as you transition to a 4-3, those guys, you're pretty confident, can play defensive tackle. They can go shade over and be fine. The bigger issue is your outside linebackers are tweeners. They're not really 4-3 hand-in-the-dirt defensive ends. They're not Marcus Spears, Marquise Hill, Mingo, Montgomery, Tyson Jackson, those big 4-3 ends that could stop the run or big enough to stop the run but athletic enough to get off the edge and go crush the quarterback. You don't have those guys. Earlier this week, Ed Ogeron was talking about defensive end when he was off the bench, and he was talking about who the starters there are right now. Remember this?
It's looking like Justin Thomas and Andre Anthony, DK McKinley, and BJ Uzzolari. Those guys right now are fighting for that spot.
Okay, that's enough. Understand the 4 guys he just said. Justin Thomas hasn't played much at all and missed most of last season because he wasn't with the team. But at 6'5", he could be a guy. Andre Anthony's been on campus 4 years, hasn't made a dent. TK McClendon just moved from offense to defense, and he might be starting. And then B.J. Ojolari's a freshman signee. I mean, it's difficult to find guys to fill that spot. So you have to be aggressive. You have to be successful at recruiting legit 4-3 defensive ends to fill that gap. They bring in Ali Gay, obviously, and now what you're doing in this class, and maybe the number one player in the country is Corey Foreman out of California, who had been committed to Clemson. He recently decommitted and is now, considering his options, and maybe that includes LSU. I hope it does. But that's where LSU right now has got a stockpile at 4-3 defensive end, and you had a kid in the state of Louisiana here that you now had an opportunity less than an hour from your campus to go get. So remember we've talked about with this class as a whole with regards to LSU. This is a year where Louisiana has 4 kids in the top 50 nationally. They've got 7 in the top 150 nationally. So it's a year where, man, your state is loaded and they're already recruiting nationally. If you can supplement, if you can get all the big time players in state and then supplement nationally, then you're talking about one of those elite classes. Like they've already got Ray John Davis out of California. They got JoJo Earl out of Texas, Deion Smith out of Mississippi, Nussmeyer's out of Texas, Landon Jackson's out of Texas, Corey Kiner, the running back out of Ohio, who we've talked about. They went to Atlanta and got Xavier Carter. I mean, they have gone and recruited nationally, but you need to make sure in a year where there's so much elite talent in Louisiana that you're getting the elite talent from Louisiana to stay home. And this is the first of those dominoes to fall. So for many different reasons, big prospect in state, major position of need, all of those reasons therein, this is a really, really big time commit for Ed Ogeron and his staff. Saivion Jones, a 4-star out of St. James, the guy they had to get, and they get him in the boat. So LSU now at 12 commits. Remember, just 2 in-state. Peyton Todd, the punter from West Monroe, and now Saivion Jones out of St. James are the 2 in-state commits. But 12 overall for Ed Ogeron and his staff for the class of 2021.